everybody. I'm Paula, as Chiara said. I'm here to moderate our debate. The debate will be about prevention and management of psychedelic emergencies at Boom Festival. We have here special guests with us. We are here to talk about our political framework here in Portugal regarding the model that you are, the structure and the model that we are using, but also regarding the law, the legal framework on drugs. With us here this afternoon, we have Dr. João Goulão, which is my boss for 15 years, so I must behave myself. Dr. João Goulão is a special guest. We are very happy to have him with us this afternoon. He's here to see Boom Festival and to share with us his knowledge. I must say to you that he's lots of things, so I'm going to read you what some of his functions. So, Mr. João Goulão is the Portuguese National Drugs Coordinator. He's director of CICAD. CICAD is the National Agency for Drugs, where I work actually as psychologist. He is also at the same time chairman of the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, usually called as MDCDA. With us also we have Maria. Maria is the Kosmicare manager. She will speak about our service and how it happened here, and what we are doing regarding the interventions in crisis here in Boom Festival. Okay. With us also are Helena Valente. Helena is the coordinator of Check-In. Check-In, she will explain to you what it is, but she's a project from UPDES. UPDES is a national NGO, Portuguese NGO, that it was pioneer in harm reduction interventions in Portugal. She will explain what they are doing here in Boom Festival. We have Svea Nilsson. He is coordinating a project which is the definition of a manual of psychedelic support. Psychedelic support, it's one of the things that we do in Kosmicare, but Maria will explain you better. Now I'm going to the word to our Dr. João Goulão, and again, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Paula. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Idanha Nova. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this. It's my first Boom, but I'm from here. My family is from Idanha Nova. When I was a child, I used to come here to camp, to make some camping. I used to come in a donkey. It was really amazing. It's really amazing to see this big city installed in the same place where I used to come with my 5, 6 years old. It's really a very good sensation. I would like to say, as Paula said, I'm the National Coordinator on Drugs. I'm a medical doctor, family doctor, and I'm working in the drugs issue since '86, I believe. Since 1997, I'm the responsible for the good and for the bad things. I'm the responsible for the Portuguese policies on drugs. So, as you know, I believe that all of you know about the most known aspect of the Portuguese policy on drugs, that is decriminalization. As you know, Portugal, as far as I know, was the first country to decriminalize the use of all substances. back in 2000. But I must say that using drugs in Portugal is still prohibited. We went as far as possible within the prohibitionist framework of the United Nations conventions and all that. As you know, now there's a lot of discussion on another paradigm. The new one is legalization, regulation, and so on. We went as far as possible within the ancient paradigm. And I must say that we are quite happy about that decision that was taken in 2000. But I must say also that decriminalization was not the silver bullet that allowed us to change the panorama of drugs problems in Portugal. We had the opportunity to put together a set of policies on the supply side also. It's also important, and in charge of the police interventions and the customs and all that. As you know, Portugal is one of the gates for the European space, so there's a lot of movement of substances through our borders, and as you understand, there's a lot of work going on behalf of those police forces. But our business is mainly the demand side. And on the demand side, we developed a set of policies on prevention, on treatment, the treatment availability for free and universally available for everybody who needs it. And we have a quite solid set of responses in terms of treatment all over the country, and this is an important component of our policies. Also, in terms of rehabilitation and social reintegration of people with problems of addiction, but mainly the way we address the policies in terms of harm and risk reduction. I believe Maria is going to talk a little bit more about our intervention here, what is going on here at Boom Festival, but the general way we address drug use in Portugal is, of course, we know some of the people, hopefully a minority of people who use drugs, may have problems with them. The main problem is addiction, where I believe that people use drugs for one of two big reasons. People use drugs to potentiate diversion, to potentiate happiness, to potentiate enjoying good moments, or people use drugs to help them to deal with an unhappiness. With the moment we are living in Portugal, with the financial crisis, we have a lot of people using drugs to deal with unhappiness. The main substance that is used in our culture for that purpose is alcohol. But we had a long and a very difficult story of a true epidemic connected to heroin use here in Portugal, some 20 years ago. And things are going back now in that issue. We are facing, again, big problems connected to heroin. Hopefully, the vast majority of people who use substances to potentiate joy and happiness. I believe this festival, which is a huge demonstration of new ways of living, is too much connected in the representation of people, is too much connected to substance abuse. I believe some of you, some among us, are using some substances in those days. But this is not a drug festival. This is much more than that. I must say I was... Thank you. We are living here in a small city, 40,000 people city. I would like to see all the cities, all the towns of that dimension in my country with the same organization, with the self-regulation that people are using here. I was completely amazed about the way that the meals are served, how WWCs work, how garbage cleaning is installed, how everything is fluid and well organized without the need of having someone imposing rules. People can organize themselves, and I would like to see most of the towns in my country to work as perfectly as this one is working. And I must congratulate all of you, and of course also the organization of the Boom Festival for this organization. In a town like this, the health problems and the organization to deal with health problems is a need. And here we have that the responses in terms of health organized and well organized, I believe. Among the health issues, one of them in an hyper-stimulant environment that as this one that we are living in, some people can have some difficulties in dealing with this. They do not need to use substances to have that kind of problems. And we have the responses installed, and I'm very happy that we could associate the national service dedicated to these issues to some NGOs that have the experience to act in those places. Maria is going to explain how Kosmicare is organized, but I believe it's a very good participation that we have, and we are very happy with the Boom organization to invite us to be present and to organize all those responses. The only thing I would say for finish is that in fact all the set of Portuguese policies on the drugs issue led us to a very positive evolution in all the indicators connected with drugs. We are happy with this. But on the basis of this is that in Portugal we chase the illness, not the people who suffer from it. So that's it. Our business, it's the harms and the suffering that some substances, legal or illegal, can cause to people, and not the substances themselves. So, enjoy yourself.
Thank you to Dr. João. I'm going to pass to Maria. She will talk about Kosmicare, how it was born, how is the partnership with the national agency where I work, and of course Dr. João, and she will explain our project.
Hi. That way it's easy, I haven't said anything yet. Okay, so it's great when you have an important politician as a friend. That's what Dr. João Goulão is. And it's a special moment we have here, and I think we are all acknowledging that by now. my job here is to share with you how this opportunity presented by the drug decriminalization law in Portugal ended up in this beautiful project here at Boom Festival that lays standards of good practice in a field not many people are working and so many people are in need. Because of drug decriminalization law, harm reduction practices have been regulated and been possible to implement in Portugal with no difficulties for the professionals involved in them, and with a great advantage to people choosing to use mind-altering substances. This makes it possible, as Elena will share with you, to have an accurate knowledge on the substances circulating, on their effects, their pharmacology. And it also allows us to go even further in terms of, well, I wouldn't say guaranteeing, because things can always go wrong, but making the best we can so that you can enjoy that experience and feel safe if things go north. This is the main purpose of Kosmicare. And it is also important to acknowledge it is not only possible to have Kosmicare because of Portuguese drug decriminalization law and harm reduction policies, but also because of Boom Festival's responsibility and sense of responsibility towards their guests. So this, and that I really think needs an applause. We do Kosmicare here at Boom. Not myself particularly, but Boom organizers. I've been doing Kosmicare at Boom. It was not initially called like that, but it was the same concept since 2002. Even though we had international NGOs involved that had the knowledge and the skill to come and provide that service here, and I'm referring to MAPS, since 2010, we took a step further this project, and we tried to go from a point where it was done by experienced, open-hearted people who volunteered to come and share their knowledge in helping and assisting others going through a difficult situation. And we tried to go more systematically about understanding what kind of work is this, what benefit can we take from it, not only on the short time, but also on a longer perspective. And we were fortunate enough to have Boom organizers once more interested in promoting this partnership. So we created this unusual partnership between a festival organizer, a national drug agency, and a university, in case that's the Catholic University of Portugal, where I come from. This, in fact, makes it possible that since 2010, we are trying to learn more about the project, and we are trying to learn more about crisis intervention in recreational environments, and we are trying to improve our work on an evidence-based basis. So because of this, we have now some deeper knowledge and more accurate knowledge on the kind of work we're doing than we did when we started in 2002 and when we started in the second stage in 2010. First of all, perhaps it's before giving you some information on this, maybe it's better to give you what we understand is crisis in this context. And as our friend João Goulão has mentioned, it is not exclusively about drugs. There's an array of situations that can plotter bad reaction in this environment. It is important you know that we are dealing with the under of 1% situations that attend of all people attending the festival. So it's under 1% situations in what we will expect to be this year's 41,000 universe. And not all of them have to do with a reaction to a substance, to a psychoactive. There's a number of reasons. People get lost, people are tired, they don't get enough sleep, there's too hot, there's too much heat, there's too much dust. Well, you know, you're around, you have seen it or experienced it. And another thing is that even when it's drug related, it's always about this old formula for people who study in the drug field, which is drug, set, and setting. And it still applies to crisis, because you can have very different reactions to exactly the same product and the same amounts of products. And we've seen that in situations we attended Kosmicare. A couple of friends have shared the spike bottle, exactly the same quantities, and they get totally different reactions. That's why does this happen? It happens because we have different set, we have different internal variables, and we have also experiencing the environment in a different way. So the way to deal with this is to follow some principles that we consider guarantee good practice intervention here. I've outlined them briefly so that I know how to use them. I need a paper to make sure I talk about them organizedly. First thing is, and you know there's boom medical service, and we don't want to get overlapped by the work they're doing, but we need them to help us spot the situations in the field, as well as we need peacekeepers, and we need basically everyone who's in the festival to know that we are around and that we can help when health is not compromised, or when perhaps if someone is unconscious, we have to assess it and see whether they are responsive or not, and if they need to be in a hospital, or if they need just to be, after the safety evaluation, in a comfortable space where they can be offered nutrition, where they can be offered hydration, where they can be offered a comfortable area basically to rest. And more, they can also be in contact with someone experienced in the generous act of sitting and facilitating a difficult experience. So this is totally the opposite of guiding or talking down someone who is having a bad reaction to the environment or to a substance. I have trouble putting it better than our trainer Mark has done a couple of days ago for our team. He said, and I think this is a beautiful definition, that sometimes we have the honor of being the witnesses of someone who is going through a life-changing moment. It's not up to us to take that, to do anything about it, really. We're just there to witness it. And this is the beauty of this work, when you get to witness it. And this is all about letting the process flow with minimum intervention. So we do have medication, we do have psychiatrists, we do have all the resources needed to eventually interrupt a difficult process, but we will only do it as an absolutely last resource strategy. And of course, if someone's safety or someone around safety is compromised or likely to be compromised. So people won't be medicated as a protocol approach. They will be medicated either with homeopathy or allopathic remedies if necessary as a last resource. So this is also important information to share, because it tends to come up as a doubt about our work. It also has to do with a particular understanding of mental health crisis and mental health episodes, which isn't so much as a diagnostic criteria express it, but it's also as understanding mental crisis episodes as spiritual emergencies, as Stanislav Grof refers to them. We can do something from there, and if we can, and if it's possible, we will act on that principle. Then there's other important aspects. It's never too much to stress it. People are free to leave at any time. And if they are not a liability for themselves or for others, we will do that, of course. And from our experience, they come back. Because they felt good. They think they're in a different space and they want to share what happened, or they want to go deeper in the experience. And we're also available, of course, to do that. We try to pass on the message that a difficult moment is a useful one if you want to learn something about yourself. For that purpose, we take advantage of the principles of psychedelic psychotherapy. We are not doing psychedelic psychotherapy. That is, we are not intentionally using psychedelics or other psychoactives to intentionally produce a psychotherapeutic impact on the person. But since the person is involved in an unsupervised episode that resulted in a difficult situation, then we are going to take what we can from that circumstance to produce a similar effect. So our view on what is happening is a positive one. We believe people can come out of Kosmicare in a better place than when they came in, and not only because they have solved all the negative symptoms that brought them there, but because they have learned something about themselves. With minimum help, that is possible, with minimum intervention and with minimum facilitation. So crisis is mostly an opportunity. And we don't have still the knowledge and the accuracy to say this with all evidence, but we even tend to hypothesize that we can perhaps have a positive effect in situations that involve already a psychiatric diagnosis or that have outbursted here. And we believe we can possibly have an impact, a positive impact upon those situations. So that means that maybe someone will come out of Kosmicare and then look for assistance in their home countries in the future. Maybe they got the understanding about a traumatic experience that happened in the past that they didn't have until then. So all of these are things that have happened to us. It's very difficult to do research on Kosmicare, mostly because we are not in controlled situations, and it's very difficult to follow clinical research procedures in a naturalistic setting such as this. But we are doing our best. And we are doing our best to follow up on people. We are doing our best to improve our data collection accuracy. And we believe that in the future these will not only be hypothetic impressions on the work we do, but in fact accurate conclusions. So I think that with this, I'm pretty much happy with what I've shared about the principles of our work. It's important you know that you are being assisted by a group of 50 volunteers, 50 people that even if some of them get paid, they really don't get paid enough for the travel and the investment they put into coming here. And most of them don't get paid at all. And these are a group of 50 people, very skilled people, with experience in different methodologies, with experience in the context, speaking different languages. People that really come here to honor this wonderful experience, and that also believe that they can take something from being here and from doing this work. And so I am very happy to share with you that as a group, as a team, we are also evolving and also developing into a group of people who also care a lot about each other, who care a lot about this work as the thing that bonds us. And so, unfortunately, it's not a place to hang out. There are others for that purpose in the festival, but if it were, it would be a good place to hang out because it's full of loving people. So this is Kosmicare. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. It's really a great honor to work in Kosmicare indeed. I must add that we are opening 24 hours. We work by shift. We have 5 teams, that work by shifts 24 hours. So we are there since the beginning of the festival until the end. Now I'm going to pass to Elena. She will talk us about checking, which is the project of substance checking, psychoactive substance checking here in Boom Festival. Elena.
Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you very much for being here. I am here as the coordinator also of a team with many volunteers, as Maria said. Some of them are here, and we work as a team, but we are part of a bigger NGO, a Portuguese NGO called UP10, that works towards promoting the integrated development and particularly to promote empowerment and full citizenship of more vulnerable communities. We particularly are a project called Check-In. We work with drug users, particularly in party settings. That's the area where we're most specialized, let's say it like this. We based ourselves in the methodology of harm reduction, as Dr. Goulão referred before. The idea is that we do not make any moral judgments of drug users and the people that come to meet us at the info stand, but we work in a way, together with people, in a way of promoting and educating them to do the safest use possible of drugs. As a project, we are present in different Portuguese cities, namely Lisbon and Viseu. We are also present in different festivals all over the country. So here at the Boom, we are offering several services, and I would like to mention very quickly all of them to you, so you know what is available here for you and where you can look for us. We are working also not only for drug users. In fact, we work particularly for them, but we have also information and materials available for anyone here at the festival to help you all enjoy a good time. In terms of services, so quickly I would say we are giving drug and sex information. So if you need information on dosages or any other thing regarding drugs or a specific substance, please look us up. We have information on many substances in different languages, and when we don't have, we have other books and also resources like the internet where we can look it up. So if you have doubts, please look us up, because I think we can help you in that. We also have male and female condoms and lubricants. We also make available snorting kits, particularly for people who snort. We provide the tubes and cleaning water so that you will not share your snorting material with your friends. And also you can take the water to try and clean your nostril the best you can after the festival. We are also providing earplugs for children and for adults to prevent any hearing hazards, water sprinklers, and a chill-out space. And the other service we provide here at the festival, and it's the drug checking service. Well, here at the festival we have a small lab that works in a container. We use not a high reliable technique, but a quick and efficient method to use at a festival, which is thin layer chromatography. It's a technique that allows us to separate and to identify not all, but at least most of the compounds that are presented in a sample. If you bring us a sample of a drug that you're planning to use, or that someone that you know is planning to use, we are able to say what's in that sample, which substance it is, and if it is adulterated with other compounds or not. We are here at the festival specifically, we are analyzing powders, liquids, blotters, and what we need from you is like a really small dose. 5 milligrams of a powder is enough to perform the analysis. So it won't hurt, and it's a good harm reduction technique. Thank you. Just to give you an idea, I just want to share like really quick stuff with you, just to give you an idea of how important drug checking can be as a harm reduction technique, and also to help you to be healthy and to stay healthy. Like last edition of the Boom Festival, we did almost 500 samples here at the Boom, and I would like to share with you some of the results very briefly, particularly some that concerned us. When we have a result that really concerned us, we have an alert. We have an alert system, and we publicize our results every day at our info stand, also at the Central Plaza with Kosmicare and with a medical team, so that everyone can be aware of what is circulating here at the festival, particularly any dangerous compounds. So let me just say, for example, last year we had blotters sold as LSD that contained, for example, DOB or 25E N-bomb. Just for you to have an idea, DOB is a psychedelic amphetamine that has an effect which is longer lasting and more potent than LSD. So when a person buys a blotter thinking that they are buying LSD and they are taking DOB, the experience will be a lot intense and can be difficult and hard to manage. This is how important it might be to test a substance and be sure that you are taking what you really intend to. For example, with 25E N-bomb, the bigger risk is that this is a totally new substance. It's not studied in terms of toxicity or long-term effects. So when you're thinking you're taking LSD, which is a substance that has been taken for many, many years already, and many studies have been done, when you're taking a totally new substance, you're actually being the guinea pig in that sense. So you should take care about this. Also, 25E N-bomb has been sold as powder, but the doses are measured in micrograms, like LSD. So this is another thing you should be really careful about, because you can overdose on these substances, and not at the Boom Festival, but in other places in the world, there has been overdoses and deaths related with this substance. So I should warn you that you should test your drugs. For example, 2 years ago, we found this substance in a Hoffman blotter, which everyone associates immediately with LSD and thinks it's a safe blotter because it's a Hoffman. Let me see, like, what else? I was thinking, we also found also a new substance with not many studies done, which is methamphetamine, that has been sold several times as ketamine. Also, the experience, it can be similar, but it's longer lasting and it's also more intense. And usually, even experienced users of ketamine tend to say that they do not like very much the experience with methamphetamine. Also, we have no studies about toxicity. So again, you would be playing the guinea pig. So I warn you that it's important and interesting to test your drugs, particularly when you have a free service available every day. Just to finish with the tips, like if you need more info, we can provide it to you at the info stand. But for example, with MDMA, maybe most of you know this, but around 2008, 2009, there was a big shortage on the supply of MDMA. And at that time, MDMA would be highly adulterated substance. Since then, what happened was the organic chemistries changed the synthetic route for the substance, which meant that now they can do it again in a different way. And what we've been detecting us here in Portugal and also in several countries in Europe, our partners, is that very high dosage pills of MDMA are circulating. And when I'm saying high dosages, it can be between 170 to 200 or more milligrams. I don't know if you know that, but over 200 milligrams MDMA is quite neurotoxic, and you can be really overstimulated, and it can be quite dangerous. So please be aware of this. And if you buy a MDMA pill, as a harm reduction tip, I would say start at least with half or less. Wait a little bit, evaluate what you feel, and then take the rest, because a bad experience might come from that. Well, I could say a lot more about what we've been finding, but hopefully you will meet us at the info stand. We are in front of the dance floor, at the end of the flea market, and near the pizzas. So it's not, the pizzas are very famous, so hopefully you'll find us. We are open every day from 8 p.m. until 3 p.m., so we're open all night and morning. The drug checking services works from 8 p.m. till 4 a.m. We're only performing it at night. It's, as I said, it's just 5 milligrams. We take about 1 hour and a half to give you the result. It's for free, and you will have technicians that are able to give you information on exactly what's there and how you can manage your use of that substance or not use it, depending on what you find. So I hope to see you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elena. And now I'm going to pass to Svea, which she's going to talk about the project of the creation of a manual of psychedelic support.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes, so I'm going to talk about this big thing, which is called the Manual of Psychedelic Support. I am, just to introduce me, I'm a psychologist. I'm also trained in ethnopsychiatry, which is a psychology who reintroduced the practice of religious practice and spiritual practice into the therapy. So I'm also the mother of 3 fine organic children that are in the festival. And my older, she's 5 years old, and it's her 3rd Boom Festival. Okay, so I was working in Kosmicare for 3 editions, since 2006 till 2010. And Kosmicare is really a very, very nice place where to work. It was life-transforming for me. It's really the place where I understood the true power of psychedelic substances. And psychedelic means what manifests the soul. And I think that in this place you really see what can come out from people when they are in a better setting, or in a good setting, with these substances. So it was really a very nice and beautiful work there. And in 2010, a friend of this team, Zevik Mishor, and I thought it would be nice to write a kind of manual on how to run and to set up these projects in a festival, but also in a more like family, small party. So we started to write this, and 4 years after, it's a big inflated thing. But we have been joined by a lot of people to write this manual. We have been joined by more than 50 volunteers, of course, a lot of psychologists, but also therapists, artists, a lot of people. We have been joined also by the core team of Burning Man, people who do the same work there. And they were very happy to join us on that manual. One of them should have been here today, but she's helping for the memorial of Sasha Shulgin, so she's not here now. So this manual is now finished. It's all written. The only thing is that it needs a nice design because now it's a bit dry. And we have a lot of visionary artists who gave us a lot of piece of art. So it should be online, available for free in 1 or 2 months. And the website where it will be is a bit difficult to spell. It's like psychedelic.com, but anyway, it will be from Aeroid or from Maps, from other websites. You will find the link to find the manual. Yes, I guess I can ask. It's a good from the website too. So, just to tell you a little bit about the content of this manual shortly, it's interesting to see that we have been granted with 5 forewords, and it shows the diversity of the people who are involved in this project. First foreword is by Earth and Fire Aeroid, which is one of the main websites where to get info on drugs. Then we have one foreword by Rick Doblin, who is the founder of the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, which is a driving force in the research field of psychedelics. Then we have a foreword by Diogo Ruivo, which is one of the founders of Boom Festival. And as Maria said, Boom is really a pioneer in this field also, like in many other fields. They really, from the beginning, decided to take care of everybody in the festival and also the people who have what we call the bad trip. Then we have, in the forwards, we also have Alicia Danforth. She's a US researcher, and I just like what she's saying in the forward. It's that this manual is like a first step. It's going to be available online, and then everybody can read, everybody can collaborate and can participate. And of course, we would love that it can be updated by everybody, and we will see how it can be built up this way on the website. And then we have last forward from Sam Cutler, who was the former tour manager of the Grateful Dead and the Rolling Stones. And it's nice to have him also saying that he would have loved to have this kind of manual and this kind of Kosmicare team in the time where there were just the psychiatric hospital to take care of the problems. And of course, it's the last place where we want to be. A little bit more about the content. The manual starts with a very nice chapter on the history of psychedelic care services from Woodstock till now. And it's a very nice and funny chapter to read, to see all these little groups that were involved in different places of the world. Then we have a very important chapter on the principles and ethics of psychedelic support. Maria already said a lot about this. Maybe I'm just gonna quote some keywords, like of course the integrity, the respect, and this we call us sitter, and I really like this word. We are just sitter. We just sit. We are just a presence for the person which is having a difficult experience, and the idea is just to create this supportive environment and to let it all happen, to help the person to let go, you know, and really this non-directive attitude, which is very important. And also, yes, of course, to encourage the person to really explore the experience. In this manual, you will also find a lot of lists, like how to plan a new project and like logistics, what you should have minimum in terms of logistics, for example. There is also a whole chapter on training, how it's possible to train your team. It's a very nice chapter too. And you have also a chapter on complementary therapies that you can use in this kind of services. And this goes from hugging a tree to Reiki to going in the water, everything. I mean, there is a lot of things that are available. And we have also, at the end, we have a lot of case studies, and these are also very interesting to read. Maybe if you don't have time to read everything, just read the case studies, then you really learn a lot. And at the end, you have an appendix with like all the street names for common drugs in 6 languages. So this also can be very useful, especially in places like that where we are from so different places. Voilà, this is a little overview of the manual. Maybe to like a conclusion, I would like to say that I hope that this manual can help in two directions. First, in helping to end what we call the war on drugs, because I'm going to quote an American lawyer to talk about what is the real war on drugs. So it's Richard Glenboy, and he's saying, the so-called war on drugs is not a war on pills, powder, plants, and potions. It is a war on mental states, a war on consciousness itself. So, I hope that with this manual and this knowledge, which is now more available, we can also end slowly this war. And also, this manual will bridge the gap between the recreational use of psychedelic, which is huge, and the academic research, which is little. So we hope that this very large field research, which is happening here and now, can be now more available, more known. And since the idea is that there is no such thing as a bad trip, there is only an opportunity to grow, as Maria said, this kind of care space is really making this more possible. Voilà. Thank you.
So now you are free to put the questions that you need. Okay.
My name is Tatiana. I came from Russia. I am Russian MAPS representative, and I am part of Zendo. And my questions come from my own experience in Zendo and psychedelics. Do you have at least a dream of creating service for transformative processes? Because the psychedelic purpose they have created in order to help human being transformation. So the main announcement is harm reduction. Do you understand the question? I mean, do you think about creating this service for people who want personal transformation? Not go out from the crisis, but want intentionally to go through transformation?
I think that the risk we take is when we try to do everything because everything is equally valuable and you turn out not doing anything well. We are, in the past, maybe our interpretation of that area didn't had it so clear what it was to be doing psychedelic psychotherapy, or to intentionally invest in mind-altering substance use as a transformative process, as you put it. And maybe this was very embedded in crisis management. From my experience, it is very difficult to manage what both things in the same side. They are, of course, familiar to each other. They follow, of course, principles that are interconnected. But from my understanding, and I must say I also have an academic background, when you build up a project, you need to have a clear idea on its goals, because this influences everything. How are you going to evaluate it? How are you going to draw conclusions from what you're doing? And if there's things with different purposes, this is not always incompatible, but it helps to have a clear idea on the philosophy, the methodology, and the strategies that you are using. I don't think, I do think that we are contributing to a transformative process, but that is not the orientation, as I see it, of this project in the current moment. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm curious, have you all tried psychedelics, or are you learning through observation on other people using psychedelics?
Who wants to do that?
I'm sorry. I've talked, and I was telling Paula to let someone talk first. I'm not sure I'm going to answer you, but what I did notice is that from being in, I've been in a lot of standpoints in this process of studying substances, intervening in the field, doing naturalistic setting intervention, partying. And what I sometimes regret the most is that prejudice comes from everywhere. And for this, I mean that I have been asked this question before, and I'm not saying that is your case. I have been asked this question before because people standing on the other side tend to think that, you don't really look like a freak. Maybe you don't know so much what you're doing. And so my option is not to answer it, because I think we should fight prejudice.
Hello. My name is Martin. I had an experience just a few days ago at a party. It was there was a guy who had taken a lot of acid, and sorry. Okay. And he was freaking out, like he had a really hard time, and he was in this. It was kind of like a marsh. There was some swamp, so there was water, and he was throwing himself back and forth, and he kept repeating the same mantras like "Marsh vedes Markovas, Marsh vedes Markovas." It turned out to be his name, and I think what we learned later was that he had an ego death that he was struggling against. So he was just clinging to his identity. But anyway, he was really wild, and something had to be done. So what happened was that we tried to be calm, of course, but we had to restrain him, and we carried him out of the party, out into. We found a nice quiet spot. We found a mattress. He got some new clothes, and it all calmed down. So I think it went well, and he had a good experience. But it was also. I'm wondering, what would you recommend doing, mostly to Kosmicare and the manual, for somebody who had such an intense time that they were physically kind of out of control and endangering themselves and others?
Well, it's a tough question, because when the person is really like harming himself, we have to do what we don't like holding or. But yes, the best is at least to hold the person so it doesn't hurt himself. But there is not one answer, you know. You really have to go with the flow with the person to see, because sometimes it's like he needs 5 minutes holding and then it's good. Or sometimes he needs to go out of the place where you are. Once we had this, it was in a very small party and it was very dark and everything. And as soon as the guy was back to his car, everything was normal because he was in his own environment. So. Yeah, I don't think there is one answer, but sometimes we really have to hold the person, and it's the best we can do for him.
Talking about Kosmicare and how we deal with those situations, the use of force is, of course, also a last resource, and we will only not restrain but contain the person if it represents a risk for self or others, of course, as I mentioned. We have had in the past restraining beds, campaign hospital beds with restraint attached. Because of the experience that our volunteers brought to us, we have stopped using them because we found other strategies, traditional ones and creative ones, that work equally well, even though they involve more people, because sometimes if you're a big guy, it can be difficult to put them in practice. It's not necessary to give you that much detail, but instead of a bed with restraint, we can use, for example, a blanket, and we can wrap the person up and then relieve the pressure with the blankets and then put pressure again as it's necessary. Or, as some of our other staff members prefer, we can lay down with the person in such a position that allows the expression of movement, but also keeps limbs controlled so that they don't harm themselves or others. Any strategy you use, and you did well, the most important thing is that you keep contact, you keep physical contact, so that the approach done isn't felt as violent, restraining contact, but it's felt as caring. And this for itself will have a positive effect. So we could use a number of alternatives. We can use force, but it's not so much as in the force you put into it, is the intention you put into using it.
Hello. In 2000, you passed this question addressed to Mr. João. I forget your name. Sorry. In 2000, you passed a legislation that was very progressive. I'm interested to know the background of this process, how the political system was convinced, and how basically you managed to overcome the stigma of dealing with narcotics. Because usually the case is that you focus on policing and you focus on penalties and incarceration. So what was the role, let's say, of the society, of NGOs, of other organizations to move forward? That's things.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Well, you know, here in Portugal we had a particular development of the problems connected to drugs, and especially connected to heroin use. We had a true epidemic on heroin that it came later than it happened in other countries in Europe, but it was a huge epidemic. We reached about 1% of our population hooked on heroin. We are roughly 10 million. We reached the number of 100,000 people hooked on heroin. So it became the top political issue in Portugal. But differently from what happened in other societies, here it was completely transversal to all social classes. In other countries, it was a problem from disorganized people, marginalized people, poor, lumpen, you know. Here in Portugal, it was completely transversal to everybody. It was difficult to find a Portuguese family that had no problems connected to heroin use at one time. And medium class, high classes had those problems. And people, let's think about this. Medium class people, high classes people started to say, my son is not a criminal, he's someone who needs help. And in my view, this launched the basis of a bottom-up movement towards decriminalizing, or a humanistic approach. Even now, at this moment, in countries like, well, let's say an example, like Brazil, for instance, they made a huge movement towards decriminalizing. They were facing enormous problems with cracklands and things like that, and they wanted to intervene and to give a clear face to the country, connected to the big sports events that they had. In my view, what limited that movement towards decriminalization is that the main problems are still among the most disorganized and marginalized people. So they are already marginalized, let's keep them in the margins. Here in Portugal, the movement was in other kind of classes, and it gave us the floor to propose that decriminalization, and even the Catholic Church, for instance, here in Portugal, we are quite traditional country. Even the Catholic Church supported that idea. So we had a very strong social basis to propose that change. I believe if we were presenting the same proposal now, we would have much more problems, because now the problematic drug use is much more circumscribed to the most disorganized people. It's not that it happened 15 or 10 years ago. Okay, I don't know if you understand what I meant about this. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I was part of Kosmicare in the past years, and it was really a pleasure, a honor to be part of this project. I would like to share the fact that in 2010, after the festival, I found myself with other volunteers with the question how to bring this service, this project to other festivals where it would be very nice to have it. And one of the points was how to find festival organizers interested in this, and the other point was how to make it sustainable from the economical point of view. So I would like to share a very inspiring story about the Zando project, which is similar to Kosmicare. It's bringing this service basically in United States and other countries. And last year they had the idea to make a crowdfunding campaign that went very well. So with the support of many, many people, thousands of people, they managed to have more resources to have an even better, even bigger team. So I really hope this to spread all around the world, because it's very nice if it will happen. Thank you.
Hi, I am Przemek and I come from Poland. And firstly, I'd like to ask about tranquilizers. Do you use tranquilizers in Kosmicare?
Well, as I mentioned, at Kosmicare we are prepared with a large diversity of approaches, including prescribed medications, such as the ones you referred. We also have psychiatrists that can be responsible, and nurses that can be responsible for those for the use of those substances. We also have shiatsu, Reiki, transpersonal psychology, what else helped me? Homeopathy, Buddhist meditation, drug policy, homeopathy. So medication, prescribed medication, and I believe that when you refer to specifically to tranquilizers, you mean the use of a strategy that means interrupting the experience.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So we will only do that according to our principles as a last resort, or, and we have discussed that, if people are particularly insisting that they want to stop the experience. Okay, sometimes that occurs, and if we can't convince them to let go and to feel safe and to help us help and to agree in letting us help, then it is possible we will use tranquilizers. But I must tell you that from the universe of situations that we administer prescribed substances, which is less than 1% of, we have less than 1% of people at Kosmicare from the festival, and we have under, like, I don't know, under 0.1% of prescribed situations, perhaps. So it's really a very, very small part of the situations that receive this kind of prescriptions.
Thank you. And my other question is to the check-in, and I'd like to ask how big part of blotter is needed to conduct test?
Hi. Well, ideally, and if you're quite a generous person, for the process to really work well, it would be half, but a quarter is already enough. Usually we ask a quarter.
Hi, my name is Jack from the UK, and I just wanted to say to you that this is like very pioneering, and coming from a place like the UK, it's very good to see that this kind of thing is happening within Portugal. I think you should all be very proud of yourself. I think it's going to open a good gateway for positive change in society, one that was formerly just a brick wall, where many people couldn't relate in the mainstream culture to maybe a lot of more underground themes. But my question is actually, what is your opinion on the use of some psychedelics as a solution to problems of addiction? Not restricted to, but specifically ibogaine. Thank you. Thank you.
By the way, let me share with you something that is related to this. ICEERS, it's a foundation which called the International Center for Ethnobotanical Research and Education, which one of the responsibles is our team leader, Ben. And they are organizing in Ibiza the next from 25 of September to 27 ayahuasca conference. There they will promote a discussion on that. So I take the opportunity to share with you. You go to ICEERS Foundation website, and you there have all the information regarding the conference, which I think it will be a pioneer conference on these issues, where the most interesting and I don't know how to say, but high responsibles and researchers on this area are going there to discuss.
Just shortly, I come from Switzerland, and in Switzerland we have also been quite pioneers in different things for drugs. And now I have just to say that it's one of my goals, because also I have some contacts that can be helpful to make, for example, ibogaine into research, and to make it available for opiates addiction. Because I believe that it's just amazing, and we have good people in Switzerland that already made a lot of things possible in this field, and they are interested, so it's just a matter of time, I think. But it's changing quite quick. We can be hopeful.
I would like to, my doubt is, what are the trends in terms of laws regarding drugs worldwide? What is the trend right now? And I would like you, if you could share your view regarding the way to manage this phenomenon, the drug use.
Well, the first thing is, as I said before in my first intervention, I believe that we went as far as possible within the prohibitionist paradigm. Now there are other paradigms arising in other parts of the world. I think our main responsibility is follow them very attentively, to evaluate them, and then to make some recommendations about choosing or not choosing those pathways that are coming up. As we are very proud about the attention that the world devoted to the Portuguese experience, now I think it's the time for us to follow other experiences. But let me I used to make this recommendation, if you allow me. I feel very uncomfortable when I see the mixing of the discussion about drug policies, putting together the therapeutic use of substances for therapeutic situations, and the recreative use of substances. I think both issues deserve to be discussed, but both issues have their settings for discussion. Therapeutic use of substances is a matter for medicines agencies, for doctors to discuss and to make recommendations and adopt or not to adopt the use of a substance. Recreational use is another issue that must be discussed in another context. I think the discussion until the next UNGAS in 2016 will be very rich and very profound, and we will have some changes in the world trends in the next few years, I believe. I don't know exactly what kind of changes, but we will have changes.
So the time runs. We must finish. Thank you very much for your coming. It was a pleasure to be here again with all our guests. And I must say that let's party, let's celebrate Boomland, let's go to the opening ceremony.